Graham Norton, at 62, has finally spilled some long-held truths. After decades of hosting the biggest names in entertainment, the sharp-tongued talk show icon revealed 6 celebrity guests he absolutely couldn't stand. From off-camera meltdowns to interviews that went completely off the rails, Norton didn't hold back. And yes, some of the names are genuinely shocking, even to his most devoted fans. Mark Wahlberg. One of the most talked about moments on The Graham Norton Show happened in 2013 when Mark Wahlberg arrived visibly drunk. Instead of being aloof, he was overly enthusiastic, interrupting, making inappropriate jokes, and even climbing onto Norton's lap. The atmosphere quickly turned uncomfortable, with forced smiles from co-guests and nervous laughter from the audience. Norton managed to keep the show going, but later described Wahlberg as out of it. Wahlberg later admitted he had a few drinks beforehand, treating it lightly, but many saw it as disrespectful. This episode became a rare, tense moment where the usually smooth show struggled to stay in control, showing how even charm can fail when alcohol takes over. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke was a different kind of difficult guest. From the start, he seemed uninterested, giving short, mumbled answers and showing little engagement. Norton tried everything to spark conversation, but Rourke remained detached, physically present, but mentally elsewhere. His deadpan humor fell flat and his body language was closed off. Unlike chaotic guests, Rourke's silence created an awkward vacuum with no energy or connection. Even heartfelt moments, like talking about his dog Loki, felt flat and distant, making the interview almost impossible to salvage. Kevin Costner. Then came Kevin Costner. His visit wasn't scandalous, and there was no meltdown. But for fans of The Graham Norton Show, the awkwardness was unmistakable. Costner's calm, grounded energy clashed with the show's signature fast-paced humor. While most guests arrive ready to joke, riff, and roll with the format, Costner approached it like a formal press interview. One moment summed it up perfectly. Norton brought up a behind-the-scenes story from Dances with Wolves, hoping for a fun anecdote about Costner directing actual wolves. Costner responded flatly with, "Yeah." Norton gently tried again, nudging him toward humor. "You were having to encourage the wolves. Sit?" Costner nodded and launched into a rambling, disjointed analogy about salesmen and vacuum cleaners, one that lost both the audience and the host. Costner wasn't being rude. He was fully present, just deeply literal and overly serious in a space built for exaggeration and play. Norton would toss him a lighthearted prompt, and Costner would respond with a measured, emotionless answer that killed the momentum. The result was a strange mismatch of tones, Norton pushing for energy, and Costner unintentionally slowing everything down. Norton has since said that some guests just don't get the show's format, and that's fine, but it makes the job harder. Watching Costner, it was clear he belonged in that category. He wasn't difficult, just out of sync. While the other guests joked and bounced off each other, Costner gave quiet, literal replies that left the audience unsure how to react. His body language matched, polite but stiff, never quite connecting with the group. Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro remains one of the toughest guests Norton has ever faced. From the moment he sat on the red couch, the energy shifted. While the other guests chatted and laughed with ease, De Niro seemed reluctant to even be there. He wasn't rude, just uncomfortably quiet. His answers were brief, often no more than a sentence or two, and the usual back-and-forth banter that fuels the show was nowhere to be found. Norton, known for his ability to loosen up even the most reserved guests, recognized the challenge early on and tried everything, referencing iconic roles, funny behind-the-scenes stories, even poking gentle fun at De Niro's aloofness, but nothing cracked the surface. At one point, after another flat reply, Norton smiled and said, "This is hard work, Robert," earning a laugh from the audience, but the strain was obvious. De Niro's legendary discomfort with interviews wasn't new. He's long preferred to avoid personal questions and keeps his public appearances as guarded as possible. But on a show that thrives on shared energy and group conversation, his silence stood out even more. Surrounded by animated guests, he often looked away, didn't react to jokes, and barely engaged at all. Norton kept the show moving, but the effort it took to do so was written all over his face. Years later, Norton admitted that some guests just aren't built for the show's format, and Niro, for all his acclaim, was one of them. It wasn't a disaster, just an interview so heavy with tension and awkwardness that it became unforgettable in all the wrong ways. Harvey Weinstein. Then there was Harvey Weinstein. Long before his downfall and the shocking revelations that rocked Hollywood, Weinstein made an appearance on The Graham Norton Show that, even at the time, felt strangely off. Unlike the usual guests, actors, musicians, comedians, Weinstein was a producer, not used to being in front of the camera. And unlike the others who came to chat, laugh, and share the spotlight, he came to dominate. From the start, he interrupted, redirected conversations, and constantly shifted focus back to himself, his films, and his achievements. Norton, as always, tried to keep things light and inclusive, but Weinstein's presence was overwhelming. He spoke in long, self-congratulatory monologues and ignored the show's group dynamic entirely. He missed jokes, steamrolled over others, and adopted a tone that felt more like a lecture than a casual conversation. The usual rhythm of the show was gone. The audience, typically lively and engaged, responded with uncomfortable silence or hesitant laughs. Fellow guests barely had room to speak. Norton later admitted that even at the time, something about the interaction didn't sit right. And after Weinstein's eventual fall from grace, clips of the episode resurfaced, casting his behavior in a much darker light. His arrogance, the condescension, the disregard for others, it all made sense in retrospect. The episode, once just awkward, became a chilling reminder of how power can silence a room. Norton has interviewed thousands of guests, but Weinstein's appearance remains one of the most unpleasant. Not because it was chaotic, but because the discomfort ran deeper. Daryl Hannah Graham Norton calls Daryl Hannah his worst guest, not for chaos or scandal, but because she gave absolutely nothing. From the start, her energy was blank, with one-word answers and long silences. Unlike other quiet guests, Hannah shut down the entire conversation, leaving Norton stranded with no way to keep the show flowing. She wasn't promoting anything controversial, just uninterested and expressionless. Norton described the experience as excruciating, and said it felt like she'd been dragged on set against her will. For a host known for making dull moments lively, this was the one time even his skills couldn't save the segment. Hannah's cold silence remains a rare, unforgettable low point in Norton's career. What do you think about the 6 famous guests Graham Norton couldn't stand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.